The dark city is shrouded in eternal night. Its streets covered in thick gloom seem endless, and sunlight never appears on these streets. At the center of the story is a man named John Murdoch, who regains consciousness in an unfamiliar hotel room. His mind is filled with fear and confusion. He has no memory of who he is or how he came to be in this place. On the floor, he discovers a dead woman with a mutilated body with strange symbols carved into her skin in the shape of circles. The surroundings are chaotic, with signs of a struggle everywhere. But John doesn't realize what he could have to do with this incident. Suddenly, the phone rings. The man picks up the receiver. The voice on the other end of the line sounds agitated and demands to leave the room immediately. The man, who introduces himself as Dr. Schreiber, warns John that he is being hunted and there is no time to think. John, still stunned, leaves the room with the crime scene behind him. On the stairs, he is confronted by a group of strange creatures, men in long black cloaks, with pale, almost white faces, and eyes that read inhuman coldness. Their gazes are penetrating to the point of shivering. John barely escapes before they notice him. As he wanders through the deserted streets of the city, John feels a sense of fear, but at the same time he feels a strange sense of hidden power. The streets seem infinitely similar, and he can't figure out how he ended up here. In one of the squares, he notices an abandoned car and checks his pockets. Inside he finds a few things, including a wallet with an ID card that tells his name and a photograph of a woman he has absolutely no memory of. She is smiling in the photograph, and something about her appearance evokes an elusive warmth in him. Meanwhile, Inspector Frank Bumstead is investigating the mysterious murders that are shaking the town. The victims are all women who died in strange circumstances. Their bodies are covered in circular symbols, and the evidence points to one man, John Murdoch. Bumstead, a man of strict moral principles, is conflicted. All the evidence converges on John, but his intuition tells him that this case is much more complicated than it seems at first glance. John continues to explore the city in an attempt to find answers. He is haunted by the feeling that the reality around him is not real. Everything seems to be staged: the houses, the shops, even the people. He notices the strange behavior of the townspeople as they mechanically perform their roles like puppets. No one asks questions, no one remembers their past, and no one is interested in the future. People live one day at a time, as if they were in a state of hypnosis. Soon John discovers that he has a strange ability to change the surrounding reality by force of will. When he is pursued by aliens by the very men in black, he uses this power to alter space and escape from them. The experience shocks him, but also gives him hope that he can find answers. Dr. Schreiber, the man who called John at the beginning, finds him and explains what is really going on. He tells him about the alien beings who have taken over the city and are conducting strange experiments on its inhabitants. The aliens are a collective mind forced to exist in bodies they created from organic material. They are dying, and their goal is to study human individuality to understand the secrets of the soul. The city is an artificially created laboratory, and its inhabitants are test subjects whose memories the aliens erase and rewrite every night. Every midnight, the city changes. The aliens stop time, put all the inhabitants to sleep, and rebuild the world. Houses change their shape. Poor people become rich, waiters become doctors, and no one remembers who they were yesterday. John is the only one who has retained consciousness and the ability to resist the aliens, because for some reason he has become an exception to their system. John decides to find his wife Emma, who he discovers works as a singer at a nightclub. When he finds her, Emma is surprised but has no recollection of ever being married. She feels a strange connection to John, though their past is like a fog to her. Their meeting is filled with emotional tension, but their joy is quickly interrupted when the aliens appear, intent on capturing John. In the course of his quest, John discovers that his memories are false. He never lived the normal life he was led to believe. He begins to doubt even his feelings for Emma. When he tries to leave the city, following the map he found earlier, he is confronted with another horrible truth. The city is surrounded by a giant ocean, and beyond it is nothing but emptiness. Inspector Bumstead, who becomes increasingly convinced that something is wrong with the city, joins John. He witnesses how the aliens are changing reality before his eyes and realizes that John is telling the truth. Together, they decide to confront the aliens. The aliens capture Emma and use her as bait to lure John into a trap. John realizes there is no other way out and decides to confront them directly. Dr. Schreiber offers him a risky plan. He injects John with new memories that will allow him to fully unlock his abilities. In these memories, John learns to control his power and use it to fight the aliens. In the battle, John infiltrates the central lair of the aliens, where he encounters their leader, Mr. Nee. They engage in a psychic duel, during which John uses all of his power to change the very structure of the city. He creates a vast ocean, brings the light of the sun, and destroys the stranger's power over the city. The aliens are defeated and their lab collapses. When it all ends, John meets Emma on the pier. She no longer remembers him, as her memories have also been altered. John decides not to tell her the truth and instead starts over. He invites her for a walk and they leave along the shore under the light of the new day he has created for them.